talking to some of my homeboys, and I didn't know my father was listening in the background. And when my friends left, my father said, "Son, you sound like a wise man to a bunch of fools."
Don't talk to strangers.
That's how we met.
Exactly. When do you just draw a line in the sand?
There is no line in the sand. If I kill your mama, can you draw a line in the sand if I shot your mama?
I'm going to do my best to.
All I saw was guys with black ski masks, and they were big, heavy-set guys. And he leaned over, the same old man who I disrespected earlier, leaned over and said, "Remember me?"
Welcome to the podcast. My name is Gaz Collins, and I am a self-development mentor. So I help people tackle their problems in life and to bring out the best of themselves, to thicken their skin, to learn from their obstacles, their challenges, and appreciate them, whether they're good and bad, and to harness them in the best way you can possibly do. I fell in love with self-development around 6 years ago. So my objective for the podcast of what I'm doing here now is to pass on my love for developing myself, because it's been so rewarding to me. And today I have a guest with me. His name is Omar. Omar, where are you from?
I was born in a town called Portsmouth in the state of Virginia. I lived in New York City for 38 years. I grew up in the city of Chicago, west side of Chicago, K-Town.
How was that?
Interesting.
Interesting, to say the least.
It made me who I am today.
Yes.
Everything
yes.
I went through, things that other people consider bad, I consider good now because it only strengthened me. It only made me tough. I have no excuses. Anytime you fail, it's your fault.
Anytime what? Sorry, say that.
Anytime you fail in life, it's your fault.
Yes.
You have options, choices, and decisions.
Responsibility.
Of course. Accountability.
Accountability, yes. When did that, because it took me a long time before I had that mindset of being responsibility for my own actions, my own thoughts, my own happiness. It took me a long time. How long or when was the time that something clicked in your brain to take responsibility of your journey in life?
Well, actually, to be quite honest with you, it wasn't something that I chose to do. But if you don't do the things that you should do, it will be forced upon you anyway at some point in time. I came in the house, and my mother and father were sitting on the couch because I got involved in what they call gangbanging. And my father said, "I got good news and bad news." I said, "Okay, Dad, what is it?" He says, "Which news you want to hear first?" I said, "Give me the bad." He said, "The bad news is you can't stay here. That's the bad news. But the good news, since you guys like to shoot and fight and all that, how about you join the military?" He says, "In the military, you're going to get a check for the rest of your life, which I am now receiving for the rest of my life, which
credit to you.
The greatest thing in the world my dad ever made me do, and the best thing ever happened was to kick me out the house."
Beautiful, tough love. One of the things that my mum done, that was the best thing she'd done for me as well. That tough love, beautiful.
It builds you.
Totally, totally. And that's a big problem with the world today. And I think parenting is that we want to be soft and we don't want to hurt people's feelings because we consider people's feelings so much. So we shy away from giving people what they really need to know for the best of them.
I agree, totally. My father said something to me when I was a young man. I was talking to some of my homeboys, and I didn't know my father was listening in the background. And when my friends left, my father said, "Son, you sound like a wise man to a bunch of fools. But the second you get around somebody with some real intelligence and some real knowledge, they're going to shoot holes in everything you said." And it stuck with me. You know, that really, because I hear a lot of people nowadays, I'm not going to say any names, they do a lot of talking, and it sounds good.
Yeah.
But I'm the type of person, I don't care about what you feel, believe, or think. I only deal in actual facts. I don't deal in opinions. People say, "What's my opinion?" Well, let me ask you a question. If you had a heart attack, would you want me to look at you laying on the floor and give you my opinion, or would you want action?
Yeah.
So your opinions, I try to be polite. That's why I kind of stay to myself, because I don't want to offend people.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Yes.
So most of the time, I just stay quiet or walk away.
Totally. How old was you when that situation happened, when you come back after gangbanging and you got kicked out?
I was 16 when my mother and father put me in the military. And when I went in the military, strangely enough, they told my mother that I'd never be the same. When I went in the military, I went to boot camp, Great Lakes, Illinois. After I finished Great Lakes, Illinois, I went to my A school. My A school was in Little Creek, Virginia. I did good on my evals and everything, and I scored high. And they told me that I could stay home a little longer, a month longer than everyone else, and I would get more money. And they said I would get some special training if I wanted it. And I said yes. I didn't know what it was until later on, which I'd rather not discuss. But I feel that everything I would do was intense. And after everything was over, guess what they put me at? I went from street war straight to the war. I was in the Persian Gulf War. We were the babies on board ship at the time. It was a guy by the name of Mark Harvin, a brother named Kelly, and myself. We were all 16 years old. We were the youngest guys on the ship. I was on board ship with guys much older than myself, so I had a lot of knowledge. They were like all my fathers and big brothers. I could sit down and listen. Not only that, but I could watch their mistakes. Because people learn by observation or participation. You know, if you see me walk in a hole, then you would be ignorant to walk in the same hole you just saw me fall in, unless you are a willing participant in your own demise.
Pain.
Yes.
Learn from either other people's pain or your own pain.
It was wiser you learn from other people's pain, because some people didn't get the lesson until they saw the flash of the muzzle.
What was that?
The flash of a muzzle.
Oh, okay.
That's a gun.
Yeah.
See, people like, life is not baseball. You don't get 3 strikes. You know, and I was blessed because at one time when I was back in Chicago, I did something very stupid. I was on the street, and I'm not gonna name what street this is because somebody might remember it. And me and my friends were shooting CeeLo on the street, shooting dice on the street. And an elderly man about my age now came by, and he's very well dressed, defined man. Because back in the days in Chicago, the men wore suits and ties. Chicago has always been a city of being clean, very sharp, crisp. That's the men I grew up watching. And so I was about to shoot the dice, and he touched my elbow, and I didn't know who he was. And I turned around and I pulled a gun on him, and I said, "What are you doing?" I should have knew I made a mistake, but I was young and stupid, and I thought I had punked him. And he just looked at us, and when I had the gun on him, he looked at us and said, "Gentlemen, have a good day," and walked away. I should have known then that I made a big mistake. But when you're young, you're stupid. Oh man, we punked him. You see that? So we riding around all day long. I'm tell the truth, smoking weed, hanging out, doing all sorts of stuff. And this was maybe about 11 o'clock in the morning, right before the afternoon. About 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm on my way going home. I woke up in the back of a car in the trunk, brother, and that taught me respect. Bro, when they opened that trunk up, I don't know how long they had me. They snatched me like a bag of groceries. Wow. I don't remember being kidnapped. None of that. When they opened up the car, when they opened up the trunk, all I saw was guys with black ski masks, and they were big, heavy-set guys. And he leaned over, the same old man who I disrespected earlier, leaned over and said, "Remember me?" And I was trembling. I was convulsing. I was so scared. Actually, I'm not going to say the words, but let's just say my bowels broke.
Just guns pointing at you.
Man, my bowels broke. It wasn't even the fact that the guns pointed at me, the fact of, how did I get here? See, Chicago is a city where something can happen to you. You think you can't, but it can. You can get kidnapped off the street, bro. You won't get shot or stabbed. You just get snatched up like a bag of groceries.
How did you survive that scenario?
Well, when I tell you one thing, he let me live.
Yeah.
It wasn't up to me at that choice. It was up to him at that choice. I made my choice and I pulled a weapon. That was my choice. That's why I tell people, you have consequences behind your actions. So if you go do something disrespectful to someone or something wrong to someone, don't be surprised when it come back. Like I can't, I'll be honest with you, I can't cry for a gangbanger because you know what you signed up for. You know what you're involved in. You chose to get down. You know, and it's all right. If you're afraid, say you're afraid. I'd rather for a man to tell me he's afraid and we not engaged than for him to tell me he with it and then we get into it and he not with it. I respect his honesty.
How old was he then?
16 going on, because I went in the military. That's why he put me in. That's why I got in.
But then that happened after the military.
Yeah, well, after the military, I came out of the military I did combat in the military. I was in the Gulf War.
Okay.
The Persian Gulf War.
Yeah.
I was the first Iranian hostage crisis.
Yeah.
And which totally surprised me because, like I said, I think some of us are trained for certain things. I can take a guy right now that everybody look down on and don't want, and I guarantee he the greatest there is. I guarantee you. The only thing a lot of guys never had is love. They never had anybody to appreciate them. Everybody want to use them. You know, everybody call a gangster when they got problems, but don't nobody call a gangster when they get paid, when they get money. Don't nobody say they're going to feed them. I heard people who, I ain't going to say no names, they go and talk to the gangbangers and all that, but what they doing for them? What you doing for them besides talking to them? They need jobs. They need economics. They need training. Where's the training at? And my name is Shabazz, so I was a member of the Nation of Islam, so I know better. That changed my life a whole lot. That's what totally changed, like the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, not watered down.
How old was you when you was religious?
Well, I'd had the teachings before, but like most people, as a child, you may grew up Christian, but your mother and father was Christian, but you didn't live by it because it wasn't in your heart to live by it. It was just something. What are you? Are we Christian? Are we Muslim? What that mean if you're not living it? You out in the street with the homies. You ain't living like no Muslim.
Yeah. How long was you in the military?
I was in the military for just 4 years.
Oh, okay.
4 years and 2 tours of combat. That was enough for me.
Oh, okay.
But I came in with the intention of staying 30 years.
Okay.
And I didn't even know that I was going to get stuck dead in the middle of combat when I got there.
What did you do after your military career?
After my military career, believe honest with you, I came home and I got in trouble.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had PTSD.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea. So allegedly, they say I was involved in robbing armored cars and banks. That's what they say. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do that though.
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
You guys make me laugh. Man.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah. So I know you mentioned to me about your boxing career as well.
Yeah, I had training in boxing from Joe Frazier.
Oh, really?
Joe Frazier was like an uncle to me. I love him. He was a sweet person. He was a real Christian. When you say Christian, some people talk religion, some people really live it. He was he actually lived the life of a Christian. He was always a good person. Even loaned Muhammad Ali money. People didn't even know. Muhammad Ali would call him names, and Joe didn't understand. Well, Joe didn't understand that what he was doing, Muhammad Ali was doing business. But if he needed some money or something happened, Joe Frazier would give it to him. And he did give it to him. And that's what I respected about being around him. God blessed me to be around certain people to learn from. And I learned to be humble and respectful to all. Well, it put me in the trunk, taught me to be humble as well and respectful.
Yeah, that was a big switch.
Because you don't get, like I said before, when that man, went around those guys and took a look at me, my body was just broke. I actually realized that I'm dead right now if this man want me to be dead. This man can end my life right here. But the guys were so big and so strong. When they picked me up, it was almost like, you ever had a container of milk in the refrigerator and you thought it was more milk in the container than it actually was?
Okay.
So you put more energy to it?
Yeah.
That's how they picked me up. When they picked me up at the back of the car, because a trunk can only rise but so high, they bumped my head. And when they bumped my head, when I looked down, I only had my underwears on. So I don't know how long they had me, and I'm glad they didn't do nothing to me. And you know what these big guys did? He says, get him out of here. These strong men, and they look like they all went to the gym.
Yeah.
All very well muscular built. They put me down like the little baby I was. They didn't slam me on the ground. It's almost like they just placed me down. And when the car pulled off, it was kicking rocks on me. And I never forget, I didn't have nothing but my soiled underwear on and t-shirt. And as I'm going to the L, because that's what we call the train in Chicago, the L. I was going to go on the L, and a guy gave me his coat, man. Nobody laughed at me or nothing, because everyone knew if you saw me, you know I had a hell of an experience.
Oh, okay. Experience. How long did they have you for?
I don't even know. Yeah. That's the problem.
Yeah. Wow. What are some of the other life-changing moments that you've held on to still to this day?
I would have to say the teachers I got from my father.
Okay.
My father was a hard-working man, and he always told me it has nothing to do with what neighborhood you're in. Because at the end of the day, you gotta stand for your own self. Even if you're in a gang, you gotta stand for yourself, because you're not gonna always be with your boys. But what I learned is that you get a lot of cowards, they hang together and get real tough in numbers. But if you see them by themselves, a lot of people are not about what they talk about. Because first of all, if you're about war, you should be about peace. Why would you go to war just because someone live on the other side of town? I got a family member who his mother raised him on the other side of town. I got family members right now in Los Angeles where I live, there's Crips. But that's my family. I love them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I call them, they not looking at it as I'm a blood nigga. They ain't looking at it like they looking at it. That's my cousin. He gave me $10,000. I'm on my way over. I'm on my way over there. That's how they look at it. We family. What are we fighting for? What are we fighting for? What's the reason?
What do you think?
Well, first of all, in society, we know that the only way the 1% can stay on top of us is to have us fighting each other. See, while you fighting each other, I just wait till you kill him and then I just knock you out the box, either lock you up or kill you. So that means you lose and I'm still on top, I'm still the winner. So until we understand how to be diplomatic and to realize that if I'm a gang member and you're a gang member, even though you're from another set or another set, another tribe, you still on the same thing I'm on. So if anything, we should work together. It'd be more of us to get more done. If you're making money and I'm making money, that's two guys can get $100 million quicker than one can.
What are some of the philosophies or statements you would pass on to your younger self?
The greatest thing ever happened when you internalize the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I tell every man to read Message to the Black Man in America by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I would tell him study the lessons that Master Farad Muhammad gave the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, because you'll see results in that. To me, the pure pristine teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is like medication for us sick people. You can't put water in the medicine and think you're gonna get the same effect that you get if you got the medicine pure. I got it pure, so it changed my life. You give somebody something watered down and you'll see the results of the watered down medication you gave them. No results.
What are some of the biggest teachings that have made the most impact to you?
I'd have to go back again to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'd also have to go back to Noble Drew Ali's teachings. I'd also have to go to studying Marcus Messiah Garvey. I would also have to go. I'm not educated in this system, but I'm well educated in my world, in the world of reality. That's why you met me here where? In Thailand. I travel around the world.
Yes.
I consider myself not from this country or that country, but just a worldly person.
Tell me about traveling and how it's impacted your life.
Well, traveling, when I turned 17, I was 16 when I went in the military. When I turned 17, the first time I traveled abroad was when the Navy took me out. I went on the first deployment. I went to Spain. I went to Italy, France. And these things opened my eyes. I started seeing that people who I thought were different from me were actually the same as I. People are people all over the world, man. I hear guys talk about the women over here and the women over there. Man, women are women and men are men all over the planet. You know, now we maybe speak a different language, we may have different slang, but we all want the same things: to be loved, respected, honored, and left alone. At worst, that's all we want, and the world will be peaceful.
Yeah. Just out of interest, did you do any traveling with your parents?
No, I didn't do any traveling with my parents.
Did your parents do any traveling?
My father traveled when he was in the military, and my mother traveled when she was aboard ship.
Oh, okay.
My mother worked aboard a ship, she worked upon a fisherman ship at that.
What are some of the biggest like teachings and feelings you get from traveling?
Well, it opens you up. Because if you stay in your country and in your state and in your city and in your neighborhood, it's the same as if you have in a mansion, but you only stay in the bathroom.
Yes.
You haven't seen the rest of the house.
Yes.
So your whole perspective is, shall I say, at best, off track. You're only speaking from what you see from the bathroom. You haven't went to the living room.
It's a great metaphor.
You haven't checked out the master bedroom.
Yes.
You haven't checked outside in the living room. You haven't been outside. So how can you intelligently speak upon something you haven't experienced?
What do you think that stops people from taking the dive to travel?
Well, two things. One thing is fear, because usually where we were from, we were told that we were the greatest. And I love America, but unfortunately, we had to debate that whether you're the greatest or not.
Yes, just like Great Britain.
But you have to get out to see that. Just like a lot of my friends are afraid. I have a friend right now. We've been speaking like about 2 years. Man, I'm coming to Thailand. 2 years.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm showing him I got boots on ground. He's not even checking this on YouTube. Here's somebody he personally knows is right here.
Yeah.
I'm taking him through the steps.
Yeah.
I just can't. The reason I was late today, because I really apologize for being late. I hate people who are being late. I believe in punctuality. That's very important, because that can be the difference between life and death, money and broke. It's timing. Timing is everything. As a matter of fact,
reliability.
The most honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote a book called A Theology of Time. And I think some people get stuck They don't realize what was good for 25 years ago may not be good for what's now.
Totally.
We're talking about modern day and time.
Mm.
So if you back like me, I'm 63 years old, but I had to learn how to use my smartphone. My grandbabies can show me how to. Pop, you don't know how to do this? No, I do not. So they had to show me how to use my phone.
Yes, yes.
So I can't say, well, I'm the old guy now, I don't need that, because that's in this world, you have to have that knowledge.
Yes.
If you don't have computer knowledge, you're basically a caveman.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like you're blocking knowledge from coming in. You've learnt enough.
You stop,
You've
and
learnt enough.
that's a fool.
Totally hear
The
that.
first thing I learned is when I've had some friends of mine, they mistakenly called me this, and I checked them on it every time they call me a wise man. I said, no, I'm an ex-fool.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not a wise man, I'm an ex-fool. So I've either done it or seen it. That's how I know how it's going to end. Just like when they told me I was looking at 70 years minimum, 250 years behind them prison bars, and I was behind them prison bars, I learned that's not a place you want to go. And the COs will tell you, in case you know, oh, we're not here to protect you. We're just here to keep you in here. So that's up to you guys. If those guys want to beat you up or do whatever they want to do, you got to handle that. So I advise a lot of young guys, if you want to join a club, why don't you join some for fraternity or something in college or something? Where you gonna get? I've never seen a gang member, and 50 Cent said it, and I love 50 Cent. I've known him and Lloyd Banks, and I respect him 100% because he come from like where we come from, the streets. I can tell when somebody's telling me something out of a book and when somebody's actually experienced it. And not only that, I go to their enemies. Don't ask their friends. I'm gonna ask you, who had beef with him? They'll tell me everything I need to know. But who was locked up with him? He ain't never been locked up with nobody. We ain't never seen him beat 2 eggs to make an omelet. What are you talking about? But people who talk war are usually not the ones who've been in war. Those of us who've been in war, we don't want war because we know what it means. That means if you are my brother and we go to war, you might not come back or I might not come back. So we have to ask the question, is it worth it? And I think the problem today is that young guys don't have any triple OGs out here and older guys who direct them on the right way to go.
One thing that's floating through my mind is like the atmosphere and like the comparing like the hostility to like America to Thailand.
Oh man, all I gotta say, and I'm almost reluctant in saying this, but I love you guys all over the world, so I'm gonna say it. This is heaven. I've never smiled like this a day in my life. This is the happiest time and the happiest place I've ever been. And all of us are mentally destroyed in our minds. So please get your mind together and leave your attitude and your negativity at home, wherever you're at the airport, not over here, at the airport where you live. Because when you come to Thailand, this is the land of smiles. I love the Thai culture, the Thai people. Very good people, very humble people. And always remember that you are a visitor. I am a visitor in their home. And I'm so humble and appreciative that they let me be here.
So much love and so much value. Yeah, it's just great vibes throughout. Food. Brilliant.
Superb.
Yes. What are some of your greatest accomplishments?
I think my greatest accomplishments was having my children.
Beautiful.
That was my greatest accomplishments. I'm 63. My oldest child is 44. My youngest child is 33. I have 3 boys, 2 girls.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Share with me like the feeling of like raising your children up and how rewarding it is.
Now, strangely enough, and I must say this, I haven't always been with my children because of decisions I made. First of all, we have a situation where sometimes husbands and wives and boyfriends and girlfriends, somehow something changes in the dynamics of the relationships, and it not necessarily be them. It could be outside forces like their mother. You know, I had a situation where I was married to a beautiful lady. Her spirit is very sweet, and we're still friends today. But she came to the Nation of Islam. I met her in the Nation of Islam. She was MGT. I was an FOI. And we got married, and we went on duty in Durham, North Carolina, because we were sent to start another temple, another mosque. So we went there to do that. Came back to D.C., which is her home, and her and I never had an argument. We never had an argument about what was on TV. As a matter of fact, she was the greatest friend I've ever known. That's why I married her, because she was always my friend first.
Yes.
Our friendship was deep. But one day, strangely enough, I was over her mother's house with her, and when she went to work, her mother told me, says, "Can I speak to you for a second?" I said, "Sure." She says, "Well, let me just say this. I don't like you." did I ever do something disrespectful, ma'am? No, you didn't. But the fact that you married my daughter, and I didn't think she was going to really stick to Islam. I just thought she was just it was just a phase she was going through.
Mm.
So I told my wife then, I said, listen, I want to leave DC because I can't stay here with you and your mom. And I want to go back to New York because I was living in New York at the time. And I got a job at NYU. And that opened me up. The job at NYU, I would have to say, is a pivoting point for me. In my middle age coming up would change things for me financially.
Can you clarify what's
New York University, one of the
Okay.
best universities in New York City. All the
Okay.
celebrity children go to NYU.
Okay.
It's a very, very, very prominent.
You went there to learn?
Sir?
You went there to learn?
No,
Study?
Actually, that's where I got my job. I became a security officer there.
Oh, okay.
They're the two highest paid securities in New York City would be the United Nations and NYU.
Oh, okay.
Because prominent children go to that school.
I'm with you. Got you. Yeah. So, what was the turning point of like you start? Because it sounded like you value. You said you wasn't there as much as you should have been for your children.
In several cases, from the military. First, my oldest two, I was in the military, so I was taking care of them financially, and I would see them. But I was like I said, I was actually in 2 tours of campaigns of war.
Yeah.
So I was actually on the battlefield.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't be home with them.
Yeah. Okay. So how did you resolve like the relationship with your partner?
Well,
when the parents said that she just go with it and say?
I'll put it to you like this: she was pregnant with my son, and family. I got to tell the truth. I mean, even if it's against me, I'm gonna tell the truth. I'd rather for you to be mad at me for telling the truth than mad at me for lying. So I'm gonna just break it down. I was at NYU working when I got a call. Now, my hours were from 11 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning. So I get a phone call while I'm on the job saying, Shabazz, come to the office. I come to the office and they said, your wife has just delivered you a baby son. And I'm in New York City. So one of my friends who's getting off at the same time I'm getting off, he says, listen, man, I'll drive you to DC right now. So I'm in full uniform. I still got my uniform on from the job. We jump in the car, we go to DC. I go to the hospital. I go up to the main floor. I see all her family is there. Everybody's there. I come in, they say hi to me. I say hi to them. They say, and the ones who didn't know me, this is the father, da, 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 da. Okay, boom. So finally, I see my son for the first time. And I'm very proud. I'm saying, okay, I'm very proud of this. So I see my wife, because we were legally married now.
Yeah. And was that your first child?
No, this was not my first child. My oldest 2 children by my first wife.
Oh, okay.
See, I've been married several times.
Okay.
See, because one thing I learned, how you live your life, you have to have women who understand your life. Just like when I became a bodyguard, there are a lot of women who like to see me on TV or like to see me at the fights. I know all the fighters and all of that. And they say they can deal with it. It's just like a lot of women would say, I would deal with Future. They couldn't deal with Future because of the lifestyle he lives. We're not regular guys.
Future who?
Well, Future is for those who don't know, he's an artist, an American artist who a lot of people know.
Okay.
See, so it's different if you have a guy who is not working, if you have a guy who works a 9 to 5, and if you have a guy who works a job I could be anywhere at any given time in the world. And how many women can deal with that?
Yeah.
How many women can deal with their man being in the military? Now, they all want a guaranteed check. They all want a guaranteed place to live. They all want guaranteed furniture. They all want guaranteed food. But how many women can deal with knowing that their man is going to be gone at any given time the military say, let's go?
Yeah. So let's go back to when you was in the hospital. So you was in the hospital. You went to see your child.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw my child, held my child. Then I went to speak to his mother. And I said to her at that time, I said, I understand that you can't travel now. You just had the baby and everything. And I know you want to be with your mom for a while and all of that. But I'm going to go back to New York and get a place. And then I'll come back and get you. And I was told, my mother said, it's best I stay here. Plain and simple as that. So one thing, that's why I read today, it's strange now, but I'm kind of messed up. I don't see myself as the marrying kind with anybody. because I realized it doesn't have to be anything that I do that can still change the situation in my relationship. Your girl can have a girlfriend that don't like you, and she like her girlfriend and been with her girlfriend long, and she might cut you off just because her girlfriend says she don't like you. So you don't have no control over that. So if that's the case, why would I even want to be in a relationship at all? I just keep it like that. I'm just your friend and keep it moving.
You said you've done boxing?
Yeah, I boxed for a while.
Yeah.
Not professional boxing, but I boxed for a while.
Okay, because you mentioned something about Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden was a place that I was with some people.
Okay.
That's what I was saying about certain things.
Yeah. Okay.
Even with, yes.
Yeah.
Continue.
And also you mentioned previously to me that, another big star, Denzel Washington.
Denzel to me is not a star. He's a brother.
Okay.
And he's a very humble guy. And everything you see about him is real and genuine. I love him.
Yeah. Why?
First of all, he's the type of guy that like I said, he's not a star. He doesn't see himself as a star. He's a very down-to-earth, humble guy, very, very sharp, articulate, and very intelligent. He's a person who cares about other people, which is very unusual for a person of his status. But Denzel was a friend of my ex-wife. My ex-wife was Phyllis Yvonne Stickney. She did New Jack City, Jungle Fever, What's Love Got to Do with It, Talking There After Dark, Inc., Will Cosby Show, and it goes on. I've known them for many, many years through her.
Yeah.
And I've never seen him once change. And what amazed me is when I started working with Denzel, I've been around him many years because of Mr. Butch Lewis, because Mr. Butch Lewis is like my father. That's the man, Butch Lewis.
Okay.
Mr. Butch Lewis is the man who's like my father, he's the one that really changed my life physically and changed my life mentally, taking the other things that I had from other people I learned and him showing me how to do it. He was a multi-millionaire who was very humble. I lived in the house with him. Everywhere he went, he took me. And how he met me was my wife, Phyllis, was taking me to a BET event. She was going there to get a part from him. And he found out I was in the Nation of Islam and was an FOI and did martial arts as well. And so I shook his hand when I introduced myself to him, and I walked away because everybody was around this man asking for something. Everybody was, I want this, I need this, I want this, I need this. I just shook his hand and walked away. 15 minutes later, he tapped me on the shoulder. He says, I understand you're in the Nation of Islam. I said, yes, sir, I am. He said, I understand you Fruit of Islam. I said, yes, sir, I am. He said, I understand you train in the martial arts. I said, yes, sir, I do. He says, who you work for? And before I can answer, he said, you work for me. He told me I work for him.
Okay.
And that's how I had the job, and that's how I got on the other side with Denzel, on the business side, not just knowing him, but on the business side with Butch Lewis.
Tell me a bit about Butch Lewis.
Butch Lewis was a very extraordinary man. He's known in the boxing world.
Okay.
He had the Spinks brothers was his fighters. When you say, you mentioned, he used to be a partner of Don King.
Oh, okay.
Okay, he's well known in the world of boxing.
Okay.
One thing he showed me when I used to live with him, because I lived with him more than his own children did. That was my first real professional, intense, personal protection.
Oh, okay.
You know, it was like being with him was like I had no life because I was always with him.
Yeah.
But I get like, and I would live with him, but it was a beautiful thing. I lived in a mansion. I flew in private. My son one time said to me, he says, Dad, have you ever flown first class? And I said, no, son. And they all chuckled because I never flew first class. You know what I told them? I said, no, son, never flew first class. I flew in private jets. So even though you see how people think they're getting one up on you, I flew first class. Well, I never flew first class, but I flew in private jets with celebrities and stars, like Donald Trump. I know him personally.
Okay.
I know the guy.
Yes.
So when I hear people say certain things, it's like, where did you get that from? Are you getting that from the media, or have you taken the time out to... See, my thing is this. If you tell me you can fly, right? If you tell me you can fly, I'm not going to say that you can't. But I'm going to say, start flapping. Let me see you fly.
Yeah.
Because you may know something I don't know.
Yeah.
But see, what most people do is someone makes a statement or throw a rumor out. And one thing I learned from watching stupidity is if someone says something stupid long enough, and depends upon who says the stupid statement, people will automatically accept it.
Like wildfire.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't care who said it. If I say something that's totally stupid,
Yeah.
you shouldn't agree with it.
Okay, so what are some of the statements growing up as a child? Because I was poured so many into my brain. What are some of the statements that you remember that now you look at like, oh my God, that just like held me back?
I would have to say,
Pardon?
I would have to say, looking at where a person is from. Like people say, well, I'm from the bottom, so that some of the greatest people come from the bottom because we already know how to get through struggle.
So it sounds like excuses and
Excuses.
victim mentality.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, victim
So
mentality.
you allow yourself to be a victim.
Yes. One of my ones that's always sticking in my head is don't talk to strangers. You know?
Yeah.
So it's only been like the past 6 years that I've been confident and I've pushed myself out willy-nilly. I'll just talk to strangers because I learn from talking to people.
That's how we met.
That's exactly. And that's what you're supposed to do with your mouth. You're supposed to talk to people. So that's one of the things that really just held on to me and just holds me back. So in life, ask yourself, how are your beliefs serving you right now? If they're not serving you, if they're limiting your self-development and holding you back and just stopping you from being the best person you can be, throw them away.
Everything.
Throw them away.
First of all, what you believe, someone else told you to believe it. Someone else taught you that. You didn't experience that for yourself. You heard your mother, your father, sister, brother, your friends, or your homies say something, you just went with it. You have no, first of all, when a person first tell me, this is something my father told me. My father was a sharp guy. He said, son, the world don't give a damn about what you feel, think, or believe. Only what you can produce. As a man, what you say out your mouth. And there's some people who, they're charming. And it works for some people.
Yeah.
But when it comes to people like me, I see past the charm. I'm going to look at you. What did you produce? I can make my mouth say anything. Where's the building? Where's the school? Where's the grocery stores? Where is it at? What is the plan? What are we doing? When are we going to get there? See, I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm Shabazz. In the Nation of Islam, a lot of people don't have my name.
Okay.
My name was a special name, and I'm going to stand up on it and say it. Shabazz is a name that's called the head of the God tribe. We are the ones who, according to the teachings, blew up the planet at one time and had deportation of the moon because all of us wasn't speaking the same language. And it's talking about science language, not verbal language. And it's the same thing with many organizations. I consider myself a member of the Nation of Islam, not the Organization of Islam, which is a big difference.
Okay.
See, I have people who, I don't go to lectures. That's why I stopped going. My family members would ask me to go with them to church sometime. And I stopped going to church and mosque and all that. And they said, why you stop? So I'm tired of hearing the talk, man. I'm seeing this person get rich and they talking. I'm hearing you guys talking about you can't pay your rent, but this guy just flew around the world off your money and you clapping. And I'm looking at you like, you just got pimped. I'd rather have a pimp on the street is not as bad as a pastor or ministers. They not.
But why isn't that their teachings helping the poorer people?
Well, it's not helping the poor people because see, you can use your teachers just like a gun. A gun can, if it's in the right person's hand, that gun will help society. If it's in the wrong person's hand, that same gun becomes a part of a homicide. So it's the same thing with knowledge. You can either build or destroy. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. I could be the biggest pimp if I wanted to be, I could be it. If I wanted to just go around and throw Denzel's name out and get free food and free everything, I could do it. But I don't do that because I say a man got to walk in his own name. What are you doing? Don't tell me about that, man. Tell me about you. And so when I check people's history, because I believe in checking the history, just like to be in the mob, they got to go back in your history. Who was your father and who was your mother and where they from? You see, and I was born in America, Black in America, descended from slavery in America. I don't feel anybody from anywhere else can speak for me. They're not qualified. Nobody can tell me about why I should not and my people should not get reparations for what we went through. The reason that people are not saying anything is because they're not the ones that's going to get anything out of it. See, my situation and my people happened in America. So we are owed that money. No one ever told the Jews, and I'm going to keep it real, I'm going to keep it cold-blooded, straight up. And these people who say they are Jews are Jewish. Because if you look at it, none of those people are from that land. They're from Poland and other places that they call in Israel now. But yet they getting money, and America is giving them money, and it didn't. And what happened to them? And I feel the pain of the atrocities that happened to them. But that happened in Germany. That didn't happen in America. So if Germany did them wrong, why isn't Germany compensating them? Why is my tax money, and I'm a Black American who descended from slavery, 500 years of slavery, unpaid work, and everybody gonna tell me be cool and just be happy with how things is. But hold up, the Japanese, they dropped the bomb on the Japanese, okay? And you think the Japanese people forgot that? Never, because you can't do people wrong and expect them to forget about it. That's why some people, what they do is they build their societies. Because that's why I'm in Asia, and I think that's why a lot of people in Asia is a very, very productive place.
But do you not think sometimes it's best to move on rather than letting that pain hold you down?
No, it's not no pain, because see, either one or two things will happen to, and I'm talking about people like me, Shabazz. Either I'm going to hurt you back or you're going to pay me. It's like the mafia. If you owe the mafia, you think you can just tell them, I'm going to just move on and I'm not going to pay you. And they going to say, oh, no problem, don't pay me because I understand how you feel. See, it's usually the wolf that tells the lamb not to bleed. See, but now if I do the same thing to the wolf that the wolf did to me, he's hollering, oh, it's a shame. So if a guy take a machine gun and decide to go down the street and start shooting everybody, it's a bad thing. But yet 500 years of what you just did to me, you shouldn't be surprised that I think like I think. You should be surprised that I don't think like that. Name me one time that America didn't strike, or Germany or any other of those European countries didn't strike down hard on people who went against what they said. Name me one. America went against Japan right off the top. Not only that, but the Japanese people who lived in America who had absolutely nothing at all to do with what was happening with Japan and America. In California, the state I'm in, they took those people out of their homes illegally and forced them into camps. This is historical facts. So my thing is, how is everybody going to talk about truth, but yet don't talk about the truth? It's just like me coming over here saying, when I come to Thailand, I'm the most humble person you will ever meet in Thailand. Why? Because this is not my home. I cannot come to someone else's home and tell them what to do in their home. Now, if the Thai people start whipping your backside when you do something wrong, you think they're wrong. I think they're right. Because if they keep on letting you come over here doing what you want to do, guess what? After a while, they'll become slaves in their own home. You wanted it, I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But how long do you let it, like, when do you, like, just draw a line in the sand?
There is no line in the sand. If I kill your mama, can you draw a line in the sand if I shot your mama?
I'm going to do my best to.
So let me ask you a question. I kill your family and you tell me that you just let it happen? And because it happened, because I killed your mama last
No, but I
year,
don't want to come and kill you, because then I'm going to go to jail,
no, see, that's you. See, me, I'm prepared to go to jail.
Yeah.
Because I realize any man that can't protect his family should be dead in it. You should go home and blow your own brains out. If you're not going to protect your wife, well, then why should a man have a wife if your wife can't depend on you to protect her? If your babies can't depend on you to feed them, you ain't no man to me. So I would say this. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad told us, can't no coward walk with me. I'm not a coward. If I'm walking with you down the street and something happened, it's going to go down with all of us. What I'm going to do, run? It's not my problem, man. If you got a problem with him, I'm going home. Let you leave you there getting beat up. You think that's fair? See, to be a man is something that I think the young boys don't have today. A lot of them are males, meaning they have a penis, but they're not a man. That's why they can't get a woman. No woman is going to listen to a weak male. She's not going to follow it. She's going to look at you and say, if somebody kicked my daughter out of my house and do something to my daughter, what is her father going to do? Is he going to say, I'm scared, I might go this, I will kill him in front of the police.
I'll watch this. So I have a story.
That's my thought.
So, I don't know if this is just the outline of it. I don't know if I remember it totally correctly, but I'll tell you the outline of it. So, a daughter killed her own mom and like siblings, okay? She got put to prison, and the father, is the only father left of the family. He can either hold on to that pain and be distraught and fucking angry with the daughter, or he can let that pain go and decide that that's the only woman I've got left on this planet, my daughter. Nope. So he forgave her.
I'll give it to you like this.
What would you do?
I'm gonna tell you.
What would you do?
I'm gonna tell you right now. First of all, I don't believe in forgiveness for something you did on purpose. If you shoot at me on purpose, why should I forgive you when you meant to do what you did? You should forgive me for not blowing your brains out
Well,
after you
it's
shot
holding
at.
on to the pain.
Well, I'm gonna put it to you like this.
Holding on to
Let's talk
pain.
about God. Did God tell Satan to come back to heaven? Did God tell Satan, I forgive you? And they'll be talking about God. Now, everybody talking about, about God. God is so freaking forgiving. Did God tell Satan, come back to heaven and it's all right?
Yeah.
When God do that, then you can tell me about forgiving somebody. I've lost friends. And even in the streets, I've lost friends. Even in the war, in the military, I lost friends. And if see my friend get his brains blown out, for you to tell me to forget about it, I guess you could say that because you ain't living with me. He wants your friend.
Well, basically, it's saying like it's violence versus violence.
Guess what? That's
war
what
versus
keep.
war.
That's what keep peace. The reason you scared to go to jail is because you know that if you do something wrong, you're gonna go to jail. The violence that you feel you're gonna get in that prison, the violence you feel the police gonna do to you when they step to you, keep you honest. No weak man can keep peace. If you are weak, you will get violated. Your family will get violated. You know what make bad guys good? Guys like me, who they know not gonna kiss their backside, who not gonna say, "Oh, I forgive you because you raped my wife. I don't want to go to jail." When you think like that, you just might as well go and kill yourself, bro. It's over for you.
I totally understand.
No country goes back. Name me
Okay.
one country to say, okay, you dropped a bomb on us, but it's okay. It was a long time ago. Even though 35 million people died, what the hell? No big deal. Move on, forget about it. Tell Japan, forget about Nagasaki. Don't worry about the people born with no eyes now behind it. Oh, that was 35 years ago. You still talking about that? I tell you what, those same people who tell you that ideal, do it to them. Do what they did to you to them and see if they say, forget about it.
Okay, so right now, thank you, appreciate that.
No,
you appreciate it, bro. No, totally. That's what I come here for. So I think it's the perfect time for meditation. Meditating time. Meditating time. Okay, this is what I do. This is what I do on my podcast. Okay,
great host, great host, man.
Thank you. Right. Have you ever meditated before, Omar?
Yes, I have.
Brilliant. How do you normally meditate?
Well, first of all, the first time I got into meditation, I was in Japan. So in Japan is totally different than what we have been told meditation is or for or where to do it or how to apply it. Depends upon who your instructor is, just like the martial arts, just like boxing. Depending on who taught you, they gave you their perspective of how to initiate this inner spirit. Okay, now for me, my way of meditating, to be very honest with you, I just sit back and just let my mind just go blank. I have to calm myself down. Like right now, on some of the questions he asked me, the palms of my hands are sweating. I'm like, see, my problem is I'm too real.
No, that's what we want. That's what I want, bro.
Man,
that's nothing
I apologize. Listen,
don't. No, bro.
This is
exactly what we want.
That's why I can't go on nobody's TV because I'm not gonna sit up there and sugarcoat some bull crap. I'm not gonna let somebody rub human fecal matter on my face. I smell the fecal matter. I see the flies, and you tell me it's local. I'm not going for that.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Okay, I'll show you. I know one of my meditations.
Show me one of yours.
Thank you. Okay, give thanks. Give thanks that we made it to today. Give thanks that we're alive right now. Give thanks that we woke up today and we have our consciousness and awareness to have this great conversation right here in Thailand. Thank you all for being here. God bless you all. Thank you for my working organs. So relax your mind, relax your body. If there's any stiff muscles in your head, your shoulders, your knees, aim to turn them off. And just focus on your inhaling through your nose and out through your mouth. And if it's good with you, on the third breath, close your eyes. Give thanks to the air you're breathing now. Give yourself credit for taking this time out of your day to focus on your awareness, your inner self, your consciousness, your self-development, your self-control. And moving on to the main part of the practice, which will revolve around gratitude for the past, the present, and the future. So take yourself back in the past to where your parents looked after you, fed you, gave you love, or whoever was there for you that helped you grow up. Appreciate that they was there for you. Appreciate all the things that you didn't have to do a thing for and you had someone else to take care of you. Appreciate all the opportunities you had growing up. Appreciate all the relationships, all the friends that come and go, all the lessons you've learned from your past that you have now. Appreciate all the great moments. Appreciate all the challenges. Appreciate all the money that flowed to you. Now moving on to the present moment, the here and now. Appreciate your awareness in the here and now. Appreciate this second. Appreciate all the opportunities you have. Appreciate all the people that care for you. Appreciate the body that carries you around all through the day. Give thanks to it. Give thanks to all of your working organs. Give thanks to the technology we have. Give thanks to your hunger for self-development and to become a better person. Now moving forward into the future. Give thanks to all the possibilities and the potential that is still in you. Give thanks to all the joyful moments that are still to come, along with all the lessons you will learn. Give thanks to all of the money that will flow in abundance to you. Give thanks to your creativity. Give thanks to all the new friends that you will make in the future. Give thanks to all the new skills and all the new knowledge you will gain. Appreciate it all. Now, recap. Recap from the past to the present and then to the future. Just hit on moments that really resonated with you or moments that you would like to add. Now, just for a short while before we finish, visualize how you would love your future to plan out. If you had a magic wand right now, consider all the things, all the habits that you need to do to get that future into fruition, and consider all the habits that are currently holding you back that you need to get rid of. All of the distractions. Now, once again, just recap from the beginning of the meditation throughout to where we are right now, and take with you whatever has really resonated with you into your future. And again, give yourself a high five, a pat on the back, imaginary hug for taking this time out of your day, for holding your concentration throughout. Give yourself thanks. And take 3 deep breaths in through your nose. Inhale all the higher vibrations of yourself and exhale all the lower vibrations of yourself. And to finish off with, bring your hands over your eyes, and in your own time, blink your eyes open and move your hands to reveal the new and wonderful world we live in. We are alive. Make the most out of it. Thank you all. Is there anything else, Omar, you would like to say before we vacate?
Enjoy life to the fullest and love people.
Yes. What are some of the exercises that you would pass on and like to share with people that will inspire them and encourage them to live more of a fulfilled life?
Can I replace that with a book?
Certainly.
The book, I would say, besides the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his books, Message to the Black Man, I would say the first book. But for the average person, so they have no excuse, would be As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. I had to read the book back in those days. Now you can get it on YouTube and you can listen to it.
Brilliant. Some of the exercises that have changed me, I pretty much say in every podcast I've done so far, is planning out your day the night before, or if any reason you don't do it the night before, soon as you wake up. Now, this gives you more direction and focus on what you're spending your time on. And ask yourself throughout your day, is this time being invested or am I wasting it? It's okay to waste a little bit. Up to you. Is it? Is it? Up to you. You need to answer that question. But you want to be getting to the end of the day and going, wow, I'm proud of myself and I've done the things that I've needed to do to help my future self. So everything you do, have your future self in mind. Another one is what we've just done, meditating to help to raise your consciousness and self-control. I'm sure there's many more that I will share with you in the future podcasts to come. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Make the most out of your day, your week, your month, your year, and the rest of your life. Love. Thank you.
Thank you,
It's been
sir.
a pleasure.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you all. Box Tree. Love you.